Hi there, I'm Tom from Chartered Citroen, and today you're going to join me on the first drive of the new Citroen E-C3. This is actually my first drive of this car as well, so you really are getting the first impressions of the vehicle, which are, as soon as I sat in really, are these seats. They're extremely comfortable. I mean, the roads around this area really are not good. I mean, if you're in the entirety of the Hampshire area, you know just how bad some of these potholes are, but sitting in this seat, you barely do feel them. As it's electric, it is quiet. You've got the slight hum there of just the electric battery when you're slowing down. You've got that regen brake and you can hear it kicking in. But apart from that, all you have is the noise of the tarmac really. So another quite nice thing about the electrics here is the zero gear change. I mean, I myself am quite used to driving a manual car, and going into this, it's so much easier. I mean, you don't need to worry about anything. It's just stop and go with the pedals. For those of you that are used to automatics, but you haven't potentially been in an electric car, it is still quite different. Because with an automatic, you still have your gears in there. You can feel those changes. You can feel the little dead spots. With electric, it is just a constant power band. There is no stops, no hesitation for gear changes. It's just smooth acceleration straight through. From a standstill, being electric, it does pick up quite well. So I've got the heads-up display here in front of me, which is very easy to read. Just sitting above the steering wheel so you can see straight over. There's no issue with visibility there whatsoever. And I barely have to take my eyes off the road. I've got the speed limit, I've got my current speed, I've got the charge remaining in the battery, and I have a little display here for charge, eco and power depending on how the battery is being used. So getting used to the steering wheel is quite nice. Obviously you normally have that circular steering wheel here, but a nice little yoke shape. Have your hands either side. It's incredibly easy to turn. It doesn't bash your legs or anything like that. It's actually incredibly smooth to use. Now handily, which I quite like about what Citroen do in general, is rather than have all your features and every single function up on this touch display thing, so when you're driving you have to fiddle around trying to lower your temperature. You can do that just by these buttons down here. So on the left hand side of my display here, I've got my current battery percentage at 53%. Now with that, it's showing about 158 kilometers of range left. 158 kilometers is just over 98 miles. So with 53% of your charge, so just over half, getting just under 100 miles out of it. So using the handy little selector there, one simple move, that's in reverse, and now we have this very clear reversing camera here, and you'll come up on your center console screen, allowing me to go back into this space without any issue whatsoever. Number one thing to notice about this car is how bright and airy it is, not only on the outside with that Monte Carlo blue, but on the inside with these nice light grey fabrics. You've got the light grey leather here, the light grey on the dash. It really does help brighten it up and keep you away from that kind of dull and drab interior that you tend to get with a couple of cars. Now Citroen does try to be quirky. They aren't going to stay to your boring norms and everything like that. So it's why we are lucky enough to get those bright and interesting colour options on the interior. So the lightness of this steering wheel here, as you can hear your rear sensors going off, does help to make your 3-point turns in what's not much bigger than a single track road quite easy. Now if we're talking trim level, obviously you've got the Plus and the Max. Now I like my gadgets, I like my features. I'm going to have to go for the Max, just for those heated seats, for the heated steering wheel, on those winter mornings that you know we get here, and you need de-icing of the windscreen. I'd say for me is a huge bonus. So with the Max as well, you've got that wireless charging point for your smartphone down there, which means you can have your wireless Apple CarPlay, you can have your phone charging, you can have your mate's phone charging in the passenger seat with one of the cables, and you're really not short on power there. So with your right hand stalk here, you can set to show your range. You've got your charge, eco and power to be showing you what power you're using at any moment, and you've got your temperature settings as well as your multiple trip readings there. So when you've got it in drive there, you've got your hill assist as soon as you take your foot off the brake, helps you start going, and as well, as soon as you put your foot on the accelerator, it'll take off that e-parking brake for you as well. So now, a lot of people going into these electric cars and they kind of fear the electric because it is new to them. But unlike, I'd say, the first generation of electric cars that you might be used to, this does just feel like your regular car. There's nothing different about it. This is exactly the same actually. Trim and interior and drive wise as you'd be getting in the petrol variants. So there really is nothing new or different to be worried about here. This is what I'd say cars will be like going forward from now. The electric will be absolutely no different. The only thing new is your modern powertrain. Everything else is the same car that you know and love, the same car that you're used to. The weight of the batteries in these electric cars does often tend to make them feel quite heavy and wallowy and almost boat-like through the corners. Whereas this, I mean, I can't tell you how light it feels on the steering, how light it feels around the corners. It really is quite a joy to drive. And thanks to all your sensors and your camera at the back, it really is easy to park as well. You get some windy roads and it really does feel planted. It doesn't feel wallowy. I mean, even with that advanced comfort suspension, the fact that you're getting double shocks in there means you can almost retain that sport-like firmness when you're going through the corners, but the same comfortable softness to soak up all those undulating potholes. Now this here was named Auto Express's Affordable Car of the Year, and you can see why. I mean, it's one of the most, I'd say, if not some of the most affordably priced and competitively priced full electric cars on the UK market at the moment. And with that price bracket, you'd think you'd notice some compromises in the interior, on the drive, but I'll tell you now, you really don't. Now, opting for that max trim level is only a small price difference, and for that I'd say it's worth it. Now, if you like your creature comforts, I'd definitely recommend just opting for that little bit more, because you'll get a lot more in your enjoyment out of the car. I'd say with these, with the Citroen as well, with this Monte Carlo Blue as the no-cost option, for a change with a new release of a car, you're actually getting a very desirable colour as standard. So finally, you can stray away from your maybe a bit more tame whites and blacks and greys and get something a bit more exciting. And whilst it also serves a great purpose with your interior space as a good little family car, fitting 2 people up front and 3 people in the back with not much issue at all. You fold those rear seats down, you really have a very generous load capacity in the back as well. So if you do need to make those trips down to the dump, then you shouldn't have any problem whatsoever. Exterior wise, the E-C3 was based off of Citroen's Ollie, their all-electric, kind of eco-friendly, recyclable materials car. Now, if you ask me, that's quite a nice, unique design difference you get in there. As you can tell that by the angular front and back of this car, and your protruding wheel arches gives this car a muscular, kind of yet minimalistic look about it. So safety-wise, you might think that this being the most affordable and low-priced option in Citroen's range, they're going to scrimp out on some of their features. But thankfully they didn't. So you're getting your lane assist, you're getting speed limit recognition, you're getting airbags all around, as well as your safety brakes and your collision risk to just cut in there when the car's detecting an incoming crash. Now, sitting quite high up as well, as opposed to the old C3, it definitely does help you feel that bit of confidence. Sitting up high, you're having a good viewpoint over the road, over your other cars as well. You're not feeling squashed in between the traffic at all. So I'm 6 foot, near on a bounce anyway. And I mean, as you can see, I've got plenty of headroom in here. So even if you're a fair bit taller than me, you won't have any trouble in this car. And I don't even have the seat down as far back or as far down as it does go. And that accounts for the back as well. I mean, my assistant's about the same height as me, and I'd say he's pretty comfortable in the back there. Because a lot of companies have stuck with that low down hatchback kind of look. Citroen have changed it up from their last C3 and have gone for a more mid-size miniature SUV. Now that switch to the SUV over the hatchback look does make a big difference in your ergonomics of the car. It makes it more comfortable to drive, you're sitting higher on the road, you've got better vision all around. It feels a lot safer as well, and getting in and out is so much easier. Especially if you're struggling with your mobility or anything like that, a car like this for you would suit you so well. But even for your younger market, the looks, the driving style, the feel of it makes it really a car that's suitable for everyone. Now, to sum up of my first drive of the Citroen E-C3, to be honest with you, I was expecting not too much from a car that's meant to deliver on electric at this kind of price range. But thankfully, I've been really pleasantly surprised. It delivers so much more than you might think of it, and does it for a price that you can't really believe. So the new Citroen E-C3, you pay less and you get more. So thanks for sharing your time with me while we go on my first drive of the Citroen E-C3. But feel free to get in contact with us down at Charters in Aldershot. Test drives are open on this car if you do want to experience this for yourself. So contact me on Nick on 01252 21 31 50. See you soon.